passion could be one of the main reasons for your failure in life. I'll explain. If you only wait for your passion to come, that could be one of the reasons that you always fail and fail again. Since passion is something that is really overrated, you need to understand that passion is not something that is just there. It's something that you need to create. Now, if you create that passion, if you make the right steps and you take them and then you create that passion, passion could be something that actually helps you grow in life, something that helps you find in yourself, the goal that is always there, but you never really see it. So passion is great, but you need to take the right action steps to find that passion. And there is a way to do that. Also, after you take those steps, it's not a one-time stop that you go for 2 days and do some meditation, then it's done. It's something that you do for your whole life. What I want to emphasize over here, that passion is important, and we're going to talk about the steps in order to find that passion. But you really need to understand that it's continuous movement in life. One day you might be passionate from one thing and another day from a different. Now, usually it's not one day and one day. Sometimes it is. Many times in life it could be like a certain time in your life that you're more passionate for something specific. Later on in life, with more knowledge, more wisdom, more experience, you're passionate from something else. And there are always ways to find that passion. I'm just now going to give you two short examples from two areas of life that passion is important over there. I'm sure you could relate for them, and then we're going to talk about those steps you can take in order to create that passion and actually connect to it even more than what you thought you could. So number one is relationship. In relationship, as we all know, sometimes there's more passion, sometimes there's less. The thing is that it doesn't matter with who you go out, you'll always have the times that, sometimes there's no passion at all, but assuming there were times that there were passion, so you could create that passion again. Just now you're in different places of life. The focus should be on what do we have in the relationship? What is the secret? What is the beauty in the relationship that is still not, seen, that we didn't reveal yet? Because it is there, it is right there. The focus should always be how can we create the passion with what we have. And then after we create some type of sparkle of passion, something that this starts the passion, after that, okay, now that we started that sparkle, we lit that fire, now we could create new things. But to create new things from nothing is possible, but it's pretty hard. So in relationships, really important to find that passion. I know that you understand me 100%. And by the way, just to make everything clear, you won't always have passion, but you do want to create that passion that would be there a big part of the time, okay? And it is possible, and we're going to talk about those steps in just a few seconds. Another area in life that is important to have passion, actually you're there most of your day, probably, which is work. Whether you're working for somebody else, whether it's your own business, you need to find that passion when you go to work. Now, it doesn't mean that you love your work, but it means that you can love different areas in your work, okay? So we'll talk also about that, and we'll see exactly how you can take those steps and implement them into relationship, into business, into basically passion with yourself, which that is number one. And that we know it would help you feel a lot better, and when you feel better, so you can create more beauty in life for yourself and for others. So let's start. Number one, be you. Many times we're trying to be someone else in order to impress someone that we think actually cares about us, but the bottom line is the ones that care about us more, I won't say more, I'll say the most, is us. So be you. Be the best version of yourself. Don't try to be someone else in order to impress someone that, to be honest, maybe they care about you a little bit, but they're more focused on themselves. So be you. Whatever it is you do in life, try to be yourself. If you're asking yourself, well, Yair, who am I? You're saying be myself, but I'm not sure who am I, that's a totally different video. But I'll just say in a few seconds that take a deep breath, close your eyes, and just listen inside. When you have any questions come up, just listen inside what comes up when you ask those questions, and that would give you a direction. So we said number one, be you, whether it's in the relationship. If you're not yourself, eventually, you'll be tired of making that show, and she or he will connect to basically someone that is not you. And then when you'll stop with that show, everything will explode. So be yourself, be the best version of yourself. Also in work. Again, if you just make a show and just for them to hire you and then you're someone totally different, you only make it a lot worse when they find it out. And then you also come to a place in work that you don't enjoy because they don't want you anymore and you don't want them. So it's kind of like a spiral going on and on. So as we said, be you. Number 2, have that awareness. I just mentioned that in just a small brief, but be aware of what's going around you, okay? Many times we have passion for things in life and we don't even realize that because we just take it as kind of for granted. But be aware of what's happening around you in any circle of life. In relationships, amazing. Be aware of those beautiful times in relationship. Be aware of what caused that beauty in that relationship. And then if you see, okay, A, B, C, D caused that beauty in the relationship, amazing, beautiful. Okay, now let's create that again. Maybe it's hard for me now to use all of those elements that created that beauty in that event, but I'll take 2 of those elements. So let's say, for an example, okay, you went with your boyfriend, girlfriend to see some beautiful view, and you had a great experience. Now, that great experience maybe came from the ride that you had beautiful music. Maybe it came from the scenery. Maybe it came from the food that you make there. Maybe from the hug and kiss. Maybe from the silence that you were together. But when you're aware of that experience, not to start, taking a piece of paper and writing everything down. Just be aware, enjoy the experience. Later on, you could write it down for future. But when you're aware of it, so you could take those elements and use some of them to create another great experience. And basically then you create another passionate, we'll say date, passionate evening, passionate date with your partner. And you just need to write it down. But again, I'm saying when you're in the experience, it's not the time to write it down. That's time to be there, to experience it, to realize what brought that passion, and later on write it down. At work, the same thing, exactly the same thing. You had a good day at work, try to understand what caused that good day, what brought that passion to that day, and try to bring it back again a different day. There are times that it will work and there are times it won't, but if you'll be continuous and you'll do it again and again, you'll be persistent with it, you'll find those elements that bring passion to your work. Number 3, if you're still having a hard time with finding your passion, is ask other people, people that see you from the outside, people that saw you, whether it's in your relationship, in your job, whatever it is, they see things that you do not see. And ask them, what do you think I'm good at? What do you think I'm passionate about? From what you saw in my life. Now, really important over here, when you ask that question, ask it from people that you care about and that you value them and you'll value their answer. Don't just ask it anyone in the street. It has to be people that really care about you and you value their answer. That's critical over here, really critical. When you do that, again, they might, shine light on different areas in life that you kind of maybe took for granted and you didn't really realize, you enjoyed them, but you didn't really realize that you could be more passionate about them, or you're passionate but you're just not aware. So other people that you value and you appreciate their opinion, they could also help you find your passion and find areas in life that you're good at. By the way, the fact you're good at it doesn't mean you're passionate about it, but they can see things from the outside that you don't see and, shine some light on areas that they saw that you have passion but you don't really realize. Number 4. This one is so important. I can't even emphasize how important this is. Okay? Many times in any area of life, not only relationship and work, you don't need to change what you do, you need to change how you do. This has to do with the sentence of the beginning of every of the videos over here, that when you change the way you look at things, what you look at changes. Let's take a few examples, okay? We'll start with relationship. You're in the relationship, maybe it's not going in a way you want, maybe it's going in a great way, okay? Maybe you're enjoying, but you want even to be better. And we want to add some more passionate days in that relationship. Don't be so fast to change the relationship. Of course, there are times you need to change that relationship. Believe me, I was there many times. But first, try to create those experiences that you see more of the beauty in the relationship. Because it doesn't matter with who you go out, as I said at the beginning. Eventually, you could always think of someone else. And instead of focusing on looking at the beauty at the outside, look at the beauty in the inside, because there's much more beauty when you go deep dive. Okay, when you do that deep dive inside, much more beauty. So focus on not how can I leave this relationship and how can I just go to the next chapter in life with a different person. And again, if that's necessary, of course you do that, but focus on what can you do in order to make this relationship better. Same thing at work, okay? I could tell you that I was in a few jobs that I didn't really like. But at that time in life, in the bigger picture, it served me to be there right now because I had different things that were actually higher on my priority list. So when I came to work, what I tried to do, of course, I'm a human being like everyone. Sometimes I try and it works, sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, I try again. But what I did was that I wasn't focusing now how could I leave my job because that wasn't my focus right now in life. I had different stuff that were more important. But what can I change? What can I change in my mindset and my view on what I'm doing right now? So for example, I don't like what I'm doing. So what can I do in order to do it in a different way? Option number one, whatever it is in your job that you're doing, maybe you could do it in a different way. Option number two, maybe you really don't like that and that's fine. You're not passionate about that, but how can you find passion in your job? So how can you find things in your job that you do like? Because a job is 100%, it's a whole. Maybe you don't like 30% of that. And also people that are really passionate about whatever it is that they're like, whatever it is that they work in, there are always things that you don't like that much. So put your focus in order to find that passion. Put your focus on what you do connect to. And whatever you do connect to, again, in the job and the relationship, put all of your focus, shine your light over there and see how you could go in that deep dive and basically find much more of the beauty that is in that area that you do connect to, and then you increase your passion. And if you see let's say in the relationship or in the job or whatever it is in life, that 70-80% you don't like at all, maybe this is the time actually to change that job or to continue to a different relationship. But that's only when most of that whole is not really working out. And I'm not just talking about a few 30-40%. Okay? Number 5, and this one is, I guess, the most important one, take action. If you don't take an action, when I say take action, it doesn't mean one-time action. It means being persistent with, being aware with yourself, with asking other people, with changing on how to do it instead of what to do, with focusing on what we connect, not what we don't connect. Okay? That's so important to be consistent with that action because it's not a one-time step. It's not a one-time, like I said, sitting down meditation for 1 hour and it's done. It's all of your life. If you want to improve, if you want to grow, you always need to take those steps and also add more steps from other people. It's not that the steps that I say here, those are the only steps. Many people have great advice, follow them, amazing. But you always need to be persistent with action. You need to understand something really simple. You'll be in some type of growth in life if you continue to learn and implement what you learn. But if you don't do that, instead of going up and growing, you'll be going down. Okay, you can't stay at your place. It doesn't work. Just 1 second before we sum up all the steps. For those of you that say, I really have no clue what's my passion, I'm not sure how to find it, I hear different advice from different people. Listen again to the steps that I'm going to say in just a second, but think that if you're right now in it doesn't have to be an island like all this story, it could also be in your room quiet or in a place that there's no one else and you don't care what other people think about you. You create yourself from your inner self, from what your inside says. What are those things that you connected to through childhood? What are those things in life that you connected to that have nothing to do with other people? Okay, what is that value? Usually the passion has to do with value that you can create. So if you're right now by yourself, what are those things that you would do? Okay, think about that. Now if it has to do with value for other people, amazing. We're not putting other people, we're not taking and canceling other people, but we don't want others people's opinion to create us. We want our inner self to create us in order to serve other people. So like I said, let's sum up those steps. You need to be consistent with them. You need to be persistent, and that would create your passion through life. And by the way, also through different times of life, that passion changes. Number 1, be you. Okay, that's really important. In order to be you, that would bring number 2, be aware of what's happening around you. So important, that awareness. Someone once asked me if I'm not aware of what happens. I told them I'm not living life because I'm missing so much of life when I'm not aware, and that happens. Number 3, ask other people what do they think that you're passionate about, because many times they see things that you do not see. That's really crucial. Number four, change how you do things and not what you do. You don't need to change what you do many times, okay? Because when you create that passion, you'll be connecting to a lot of the things that you do, okay? But there'll also be things that you won't connect to. So you need to change how you do it, how you approach that relationship, how you approach your job. How do you connect to that 70% and be the best at that 70%? And like I said, you won't have passion in everything, but change how you do things and not necessarily what you do, okay? After you change how you do things, which is really important, now you need to be persistent with putting your attention on those things that you think that you have passion for. And then when you get better at those and when you give more value for yourself and other people, and that 70% that your attention is there, so then you'll even create more passion over there. And number 5, like you always know, number 5 is an important one over here. Well, I guess all of them, but this one is really important. Continue taking action and being persistent. What you're passionate about today won't be what you're passionate about in a year, in a week, in 5 years, whatever. Things change in life, but if you continue with these 5 steps, I'm sure you can create passion at any time in life. And also in things that you don't have passion for, you could find what you are passionate about in them. And when you have passion in life, this is, I guess, the reason you want passion. When you have passion in life, you could be more persistent, you could be more joyful, you could be in flow, you could have a well-being state of calmness and well-being, as it said. So it is really, really important to create that passion. Just understand that it won't always be there. And when it's not there, it's fine. And now it's your job to create it. When you create that passion, you'll create more light in your life, more beauty in your life. You'll shine more, and you'll shine that light on yourself and on the people surrounding you. I hope you enjoyed the video and you got some tools to overcome your challenges and light your path. For us to help other people, please press that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget that the most amazing things in life are the one you take for granted.